Hello and welcome to episode number 46 of the Hafey Digital Podcast, a show for creators, makers, and doers, where my goal is to help you make to the max. My name is Ryan Hafey, and in this episode, we're going to talk about a cool new toy, a little bit of show and tell. It's a mini indoor FPV drone. Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to the show. Happy Sunday. If you are new to the channel, or maybe not, maybe you just happen to stumble upon, or maybe you've been around for a little bit, wherever you happen to be, if you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow me on social media at Instagram at Ryan Hafey on Instagram and Twitter. Let's have a conversation there after the show. I enjoy answering questions and interacting with fans, like I have any fans, interacting with people with similar interests and curiosities as me. So let's have a conversation. Beverage for today, nothing special. We are drinking 7-Up, zero sugar. Wasn't feeling a Coke Zero today, and wasn't feeling a sparkling water, so we're gonna go with the Coke or the 7-Up because why not? So let's see, updates. There's really not a whole lot of updates this week. We're jumping around. We're moving along pretty quickly today because I'm excited to talk about the main topic. But before we do that, I just want to wish my mother, Robin Hafey, a happy birthday. Today is her birthday. She turns 39 years old. That's not true, but she'll like to hear that. My mom is probably one of the sweetest ladies you'll ever meet in your life. She's just a Southern gal, grew up in Roanoke, Virginia, and just a very nice person that I love very dearly. So happy birthday to you, Mom. And with that said, it's time to just jump right into the conversation, the main topic for today. And that topic is all about, should have been more prepared for this, I take it. This guy right here. This here, hand for scale. This is the BetaFPV. It's a drone included in the BetaFPV FPV racing starter kit. Now, this thing is fantastic. Let's just start right there. Just before we get into this, a little bit of background as to why I actually have this. And I know I mentioned this in the last episode as well, briefly, but I didn't have it yet. And now that I have it, I have a chance to talk about it. But the reason that I have that, it really comes down to, I've been interested. Obviously, I'm a drone pilot. I'm a Part 107 remote pilot. I have the certification for that. But my drone flying experience is really limited to just DJI. I have a Mavic 2 Pro, which, I'm not exceptional at flying, but I can get it around. But, FPV drone flying has seen a big uptick in popularity lately, probably within the past, I don't know, year or so. You've got guys like Mr. Steele and Johnny FPV posting these just incredible drone videos where, and for those of you who don't know, if you don't know, the difference between, say, like flying a Mavic 2 Pro versus flying an FPV drone is that a Mavic 2 Pro is going to have all these different systems in place to where the drone stays level, and it's going to hover if you just kind of raise the throttle a little bit. It's going to have all these different safety sensors so it doesn't run into things, and if you just kind of let off the sticks, it's just going to kind of stop and float in place. An FPV drone has none of that. An FPV drone, you're going to have to use the remote control to keep the craft, I guess you would call it, stable at all times. Also with a DJI drone, you're going to be able to kind of turn in this direction, up and down, change your pitch, and a couple other maneuvers, but you're really not going to be able to do anything that looks kind of like this and flips and crazy things like that. If you want to do those things, then you're going to have an FPV drone. Now, I first got interested in FPV drone flying a while ago. I think I watched a couple videos from Mr. Steele, who, if you haven't seen his stuff, check him out on Instagram. The guy is incredible with a drone. It can do just about anything with the FPV drones. He's incredible. But he made a video series probably a year or two ago talking about how to get into drone flying, where to start as a beginner, those types of things. And one of the things he suggested was getting a drone, an FPV drone simulator. And the one that he suggested was called Velocidrone. And so I thought, okay, I'll start there. I'll get Velocidrone, download that. I'll play it like a video game, and you know, we'll at least kind of get the feel of things. And I downloaded that, and I couldn't, like, I don't know. First of all, I'm not very good at video games anyway, but he even goes through and shows you, like, because you can customize the controls for the drone, and I went through and followed all his customizations, and it's just really difficult. It's not easy to fly an FPV drone. The smallest movements of the joysticks makes a huge difference, and really, you know, if you hit that throttle just a little bit, it's gonna jump up quick. So I did that for a little while. I'm not much of a video game guy anyway, so I kind of just fell out of interest with Velocidrone, and for a while just kind of put it on the table. But then a YouTuber by the name of Potato Jet, I've mentioned him before. He posted a video on his, I think his vlog channel, where he picked up or was sent this drone from BetaFPV. And you know, it's super tiny. It's meant to, well, I don't know if it's meant to be flown indoors, but it's super light. It's got these bumpers on it, so you can put this through its paces, and you can knock into things like that and not worry so much, knock on wood, about breaking it. I will say, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I've flown this thing multiple times, and I've crashed it dozens and dozens of times, even at relatively high speeds, and it has held up really, really well. The dogs don't like it so much, or at least they're super curious about it, but this thing is crazy resilient and durable. So yeah, so he had it. It looked really cool. I thought, okay, well, maybe I can get this and sort of practice and really dial in my FPV drone flying skills before I maybe move on to something bigger or a little bit better. And yeah, lost my train of thought there. But with that said, let's get into what you actually get. By the way, this is not sponsored in any way. I was not sent this. I purchased this drone on my own from the BetaFPV website. And all of these thoughts are my own. There is an affiliate link in the description below for this drone kit from Amazon. Now, if you go to the BetaFPV website, it's $129 basically. The Amazon link is like $145, I think, or $146. But with tax, I think it ends up being about even. So if you want to support the channel a little bit, click the affiliate link in the description below and pick up one of these drones. I'm going to show you some footage later as well, but it's really cool. So first of all, let's move this out of the way, bring this back here. So this is what you get in the box. First of all, this package here, which is this case, which is actually quite nice. Got a nice zipper on it. Everything kind of fits in there nicely. It's got a little BetaFPV logo on there. Of course, you get some instructions. You get some extra propellers, which I haven't had to use yet, but I'm sure that'll come in handy at some point. This little tool here just helps to remove the propellers. And then you get 2 batteries, and these are the batteries for the drone itself. Obviously, you get the drone. You're going to get a remote control, and you even get these goggles. Now, in the small amount of research that I've done of FPV drones and just FPV drone kits, to get all of this for, you know, less than $150 is a really good deal, and there's a good reason why, and we'll talk about that. For example, some of the features. First of all, like I mentioned, you get these goggles. these goggles not only allow you to, just like any other FPV drone, like when you fly FPV, you typically wear goggles. The line of sight doesn't work so well when you're flying FPV. But this thing will give you a full video feed of what's coming through, because this little drone, I didn't mention it, has a camera on it. That is a camera, and it serves two purposes, not just to make it so that you can see what's coming through the goggles, but also this thing will record up to 720p footage, which I will be showing you here shortly. So you can actually, and if you follow me on social media, you've seen some of the flights that I've done so far. Didn't start out so well, but I'm improving relatively quickly. But this thing will record up to 720p. It even records sound, which for me, the sound always is just, you know, garbled and so I don't record the sound. And I don't, maybe there's a setting that I'm missing or something that's not working there. I don't know. But yeah, you can do all that. Let's see what else. It has different flight modes. So, and that was my first mistake. So we're going to talk about some of those mistakes, but these switches dictate, and I believe there's 4 flight modes, which that's one thing. I mean, this is a Chinese company. There is a little bit of a language barrier in some of the instructions, and they don't, from what I saw, mention any of the flight modes. So you kind of have to figure that out. But if you're watching this, then you'll know. But let's see, flight modes. It's got a disarm switch, just like an FPV, where if, you know, the drone maybe flips upside down or crashes and the propellers are just running, you can disarm it, which will stop everything. Flight time is about 5 minutes per battery, which really isn't that bad when you consider the size of this battery. And, you know, it's got to obviously stay small so that you can fly the thing. But it's a 5-minute flight time or so. And then to charge one of these only takes about 20 minutes, and it's fully charged and you can be back up and running. So yeah, flight time's a little bit of a limitation, but you can buy more of these. They do have packs where you can buy like up to 8 of them. And at a certain point I may have to, just because actually these batteries are probably taking the biggest hit of everything, even worse so than the drone. I don't know if you can even, like, you can kind of see I'm starting to bend a little bit, but I mean, they still work fine. What else? Batteries charge fast. And yeah, this thing is just tough. I have crashed this thing probably, I don't know, dozens of times at this point into just about everything. I've crashed it into a ceiling fan that was running at the time. I've crashed it just into a wall going full speed, and no issues whatsoever. The only real maintenance that I've had to do on it is occasionally it might like suck some hair up into the propellers. You just got to pop the propeller off and, you know, pull out the hair and put it back on. Super easy. So let me take you through kind of my experience with this so far, because there's some lessons to be learned before you get into it. So let me scroll down here. Where's my mouse? Give me my mouse. So first of all, let's talk about these flight modes that it comes with. So on this control here, go back to this view. This is your disarm switch. So that's the disarm switch I was mentioning. If you run into problems or you crash or whatever and the propellers are just spinning, you flip this down and the drone will turn off. These other 3 switches here dictate which flight mode you're going to be in. And there are, again, from what I saw, 4 flight modes. There's acro mode, there's a racing mode, there's level, and horizon mode. So as far as I understand them, acro mode is the mode that it was in by default when I got it. And acro mode means there's no assistance. So you are 100% in control of keeping the drone level, and just every aspect of it, you're in total control. That caused some problems for me, which we'll get into in a minute. You have racing mode, which I haven't played with, and I have no intention of playing with it anytime soon, because I have no intention of racing, but also I think that's a little bit beyond my skill level at this point. And then there is horizon mode, which my understanding of that is if you want to practice any flips and tricks and things like that, that's the best mode for it. I haven't played around with that, but a whole lot, but the mode that I recommend if you're just starting out and you want to get a feel for things is level mode. And level mode is going to, for the most part, keep the drone at least level when you, let's say if you just hit the throttle and it starts to hover. Now it's going to move around a little bit, but for the most part, it's going to stay level. It might drift in one direction or the other, and you'll have to correct for that. But at least, you know, it gives you a little bit of, it holds your hand a little bit to kind of give you an opportunity to know how all the controls are going to feel. So let's see. So my recommendation, and you know if it's in level mode, and we'll be able to see this when we pull up some of the footage, but in the bottom right hand corner of the goggles, as you're looking through it, it'll tell you which flight mode that you're in. A couple other things that you would want to change when you get this, and you know, to turn the goggles on. I wonder, let's see if we can try to figure this out here. All right, let's go to this camera angle and we'll zoom in here. So I didn't record any menu stuff. So these are the goggles. Obviously you're not seeing anything in there because the drone is not on. Actually I could probably do that. And then you'll have a better idea of what's going on here. So I'll just show you how that process works. Literally, you put this battery inside this little slot there. You attach the cable to it, automatically turns on, and assuming that you've already previously connected the headset to the drone, then it should show up right away. Now it's saying low, oh no, it was saying low voltage for some reason, but I thought I already charged these. Anyway, it's working now. So it's right now it says disarming in there, as you can tell. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see where it says acro. So that's how you know I'm in the wrong mode. The only reason I'm in that mode though, I think if I were to turn on the remote control here, you know what? I gotta bind it. That's another step too. Once you get the remote on, you have to press this little bind button on the back, and that will connect the drone to the control. And now if you look in there at the bottom corner, it says level. So that's the mode that I'm in, which is the mode you want to be in. Now on the top of these goggles here, there's a little menu button. If you press that, then it's going to give you a little menu, and you can go through and you can change things like the brightness and the contrast of the display, sharpness, let's see, volume if you want sound, recording size. You can choose HD, and that'll give you that 720p. You can turn sound on and off. You can set a recording time. Sometimes it's easy to forget how long you were recording for, so you can set that if you want. And yeah, so those are the goggles. Comes with these antenna. The record button is right on the top there. Then you just literally tap it to start it and then tap it again to stop it. Comes with a little micro SD slot right there. And then a little charging port right there. Headphones, I haven't used those yet. Again, I don't know really, given how the sound records, I don't know how, useful that's going to be. But there you go. Those are the goggles. Let's see. Let's turn that off. Good. Turn this off. Zzz. And yeah, so step one, get the camera going and get it in level mode. That's where you want to start. From there, what I've found is that hovering is actually a lot more difficult than trying to fly around. I feel like, once you start flying around, really the hardest part is throttle control. So if you can get to a space where you've got some open room and with no goggles, just start practicing throttle management and really dialing in, how far you need to push the sticks in order to get the result you want. Because I'm telling you, it's super sensitive. If you were to just kind of film your fingers moving as you're flying the thing around, it would just look ever so slight. It doesn't require big movements at all. But let's pull up some flight footage here. And nope, wrong one. Where am I at? Projects. So we'll go to day 1. So I plan to, if I ever get off my ass, make a video about this. But this was my first drone flight. Ooh, there we go. So this was flight number 1. And didn't go so well, as you can see. Again, as you can see down here in the bottom right-hand corner, it says I'm in acro mode. So I was unaware of this and therefore had very little control, but that was my first flight. Moving on, let's see, this is flight number 5 of the same day. Yeah, so there's Pudge, there's my son. This was also, by the way, recorded at 640 by 480 before I knew that there was an HD setting for this. Yeah. See, and this is, by this point, I had figured out level mode, as you can see. So I've got my level mode. Oh, you can't see. Let's see. There you go. Now you can see level mode. And by the way, see low voltage there? That's what happens when the drone starts to run out of battery. It'll tell you low voltage, and then you've got maybe 30 seconds to a minute left before it just kind of won't stay off the ground. But you can bump into it, you can run it into walls, and really doesn't cause any issues. But as you can see, at this point, still having some issues controlling it. But now, let's jump up to... We'll go to day 3. So today is day 4 of having this thing. This is day 3. So at this point, I'm a little bit better. As you can see, flying around the house. Well, I crashed there. But I have a better control over where it's going. There's Tum Tum. He's wearing a cone, by the way, because he was recently neutered and had a gastropexy, which is a procedure where they suture his stomach to the inside of his body wall so that it doesn't flip over as he gets older. Anyway, I'm crashing a little bit there. Still definitely not perfect by any means, but getting better. Here, let's look at another one from yesterday. Oh, so this is where I was doing some hover practice inside the office here, because yeah, that's the best way that I found so far to really kind of get a feel for the sticks and how they work. As you can see, I'm not wearing the goggles there. I'm just kind of using line of sight, which, by the way, you definitely need the goggles if you're going to be flying around and maneuvering around things. Kind of, I think, in my opinion, it takes a very skilled pilot to be able to fly line of sight and understand kind of the orientation as you're flying around without goggles. At least when you have the goggles on, you have a first-person perspective. And you can see also the feed that you get is an analog feed. It's not going to be super crystal clear, but it's definitely enough to get by. But anyway, so here we go. You can kind of see, oh, this was the next video. So it's not hard to get to a point where you can at least be comfortable enough to fly the thing and move it around. I'm still not super comfortable when it comes to, I need to set up some obstacles. What I'd like to, the things that I'm working on is flying around objects and kind of keeping the camera on them. Because ultimately, like I said, as far as like my goals with this, I want to eventually get like a cine whoop. So a cine whoop, there's like FPV, like racing style drones that are super fast, super nimble. I mean, they'll fly 80 plus miles per hour from what I've seen. Cine whoops are much smaller drones. They essentially just look like bigger versions of this, but they give you a little bit more control. They're going to fly a lot slower, but you're still going to have that kind of same control to get through tight spaces and things like that. And for the stuff that I kind of envision myself shooting, a cine whoop style drone is going to be much better for me than a racing drone, because I don't need all that speed, at least at this point. What else? Yeah, here's just kind of another angle. Working on some some hover practice here in the office. There's Tum Tum Kind of trying to figure it out. You can see the drone right there in the background. And if you watch my hands there, you can kind of see how it works as far as like what's, you know, how much movement's required. I'm overcorrecting a lot, which is why the thing's flying around all over the place. But I'm trying to kind of turn the drone around, figure out its orientation. Getting a little off and coming back around. Okay, there we go. All right, we fixed it. But yeah, man, I've been playing with this thing for, I don't know, at least an hour a day so far. And I actually kind of like, so as I mentioned, the batteries last about 5 minutes at a time, which for me is perfect because I'm the kind of person who I'll start messing with something and then, you know, either I'll get bored or I'll get frustrated with it. And then, you know, I want to take a break. These basically force you to take a little bit of a break. You can fly around for 5 minutes, pop another one in, fly around for another 5 minutes, and then you're forced to take a 20-minute break. And during that 20 minutes, you know, at least in my case, I haven't exhausted what, you know, like my interest in it. Like while the batteries are charging, I'm looking forward to being able to fly it the next time. So I'm hoping that'll prevent me from being burnt out on it too fast. But for now, I'm having tons of fun with this thing. Let's see if I have any other good footage from day 2, because we just glossed over day 2. I only have one video from day 2. Oh yeah, this wasn't so bad. See, there's a point where if I can get into the zone. There's sometimes when the drone starts to get a little bit out of control, I sort of forget what the joysticks do. But like in this case, you know, I had the drone going nice and slow and controlled, and I was able to nice and easily and consistently go around, and then just kind of this counterclockwise rotation. I do recall at this point, that was kind of like the only direction I could go. I was having trouble being able to turn the drone around and go in a different direction, which I've sort of dialed that in now. I wouldn't say dialed in, but I'm better at it now, and I can kind of go in all different directions. One of the things I want to practice is on that wall in the center there. I want to be able to kind of do some like figure eights. I think that would be a good exercise. And I just realized that you couldn't see any of that. Well, you maybe could have on the screen, but there you go. Bring it back again. Nice and easy around the bend. So again, I am by no means an FPV drone pilot yet. Just having some fun with it. But I have to imagine that as much fun as this is, these skills are going to translate nicely if I ever do decide to upgrade and get a bigger drone. Oh, let's see what else. Yeah, techniques, use level mode, settings, practice hovering, and then practice your throttle control. Yeah, throttle control I think is really going to be the big thing. For me, I noticed that a lot of the work that I do is on the left stick here. If you are, let's zoom this out a little bit. So this is going to be your throttle, obviously more throttle, less throttle. And then this is going to be your, I guess that would be yaw, right? When it goes on that axis. And then over here, this is going to be your pitch up and down. So it's going to determine if the drone is facing like this or like this. Obviously, if it's forward, then the drone is also going to move forward. So this is going to help you directionally. And then left and right is going to be your roll. So this is going to make the drone kind of go like this. So it takes some time figuring out how all of this works together. You know, if you're going to be making a sharp turn left, you can't just turn this, which would turn the drone in this direction, because you're still going to have some forward momentum. So you would also need to crank this joystick, which is going to kind of force the drone to not only turn, but roll, giving you a faster turn. So that's all stuff that I'm currently learning and working on, but man, is it fun. But that, yeah, that's my drone. That's my new FPV drone. I highly recommend it. Once again, if you are interested in it, an affiliate link is available in the description of this video. If you click on that affiliate link and decide to purchase it, you will be supporting the channel. But once again, this is not sponsored. These are my own thoughts. I'm having so much fun with this thing that I had to dedicate an episode to it. So that's what we're doing here. But anyway, man, felt like I was talking for 5 minutes. We've been going for about a half an hour here. So with that, I think it's a good place to end it here. And if you are still with me, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button wherever you happen to be watching or listening, and follow me on social media at Ryan Hafey on Instagram and Twitter, even on TikTok, although I don't post as much there. But hey, follow me there if you'd like, and send me some questions. But until next time, I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.